Hello, and welcome to the first session of Heartwork, where we will be looking at the work of the Dutch painter Piet Mondrian and discovering your power to innovate. Welcome to Heartworks, the monthly year-long masterclass that creates artists, artwork, and community. Hello, my name is Maureen Claffey, and I'm an artist. Welcome to Heartworks. In case you didn't know, you're an artist as well. If you're breathing, you're an artist. Creativity is inherent in humanity and in every single living person. So welcome to it. Let's make some art together. I'm so excited to talk to you today about Piet Mondrian and his work, his early work in landscape, and how it evolved into what was so incredibly modern and so incredibly different than anything the world had seen before. What I'm really interested in is that same voice inside of you that has something to say that's completely unique to you alone, and helping you bring it into the world. Art is so beautiful. It builds individuals. It emboldens them. It helps connect them to their creative power. And it builds communities. And don't we all need communities right now? Remembering that we can be friends, we can love each other, and we can learn together. So thank you for coming to class and for being open to the idea of Heartwork. We're going to start, before we begin, with 4 deep breaths to center ourselves in the creative process. I call this just shift breath. I teach children, and we do this, and it always really settles everybody down and brings them back to a place of creation. So if you would join me by taking 4 deep breaths, and we're going to go in through our nose and then out through our mouth as if it's a pursed straw. And what's beautiful about it is I always hear the sound of the ocean in my own breath. It brings you, your own breath will bring you back to your senses, to being a sensory being, and let's give it a go. 4 deep breaths together. So as we begin, big deep breath in through your nose, and then out through your mouth as through a straw. Big deep breath in. Big deep breath in. And here's the shift breath, the 4th one. Big deep breath in. Fill your whole body with air. And release it like the tide. Do you feel it? Do you feel calmer? I always do. It always surprises me. So welcome to it, and thank you so much for being here. I wanted you to see some pictures of Piet Mondrian as both a young man and an older man, and get a look at his signature. Take it for what it's worth. You can always do more research or Google him and find out more about him, but I think it's actually more powerful just to look at his work and to allow that to speak for itself. And so I'm going to do my very best to be quiet. In fact, I'll just edit myself out so that you can enjoy the work that follows and take note of the dates. Come to your own conclusions and see if you can let it sift into your soul. So I hope you thought that was pretty remarkable. I certainly do. And who truly knows what his evolution was? He's the only one that honestly knows. And of course, there are art historians, and so many books have been written about it. And we could surmise forever what brought him to this place of abstraction that so clearly, in my mind, foretold the digital age. Who knows? We're honestly never truly going to know. Unless he's written an autobiography that I don't know about and I haven't read. And that's 100% possible. However, I want you just to take note here of the name and the title and the date of the work. And notice too that it was not a very large painting. And it's one of the most important pieces of work of the 20th century. Pretty amazing, isn't it? What a human being can accomplish when they allow themselves the freedom to be who they truly are and to create what is uniquely theirs. And that's what I'd like to do next together in Heartwork today. So I'm going to teach you a little bit about drawing a landscape and give you the basics of drawing a landscape so that you can evolve from that point. It's pretty fascinating. Once you start to look at landscape, you can kind of see where he went to where he was going. And, you've got vertical lines, you have horizontal lines. Those become points in space. And then you add almost like, when I look at his work, I think he almost like added music to it somehow and plotted things out. So what's in your mind? And as we start to draw landscape, allow your mind to wander at the same time. Create what you're creating, but then think about what does this actually mean to me and how can I morph it? As we do that, I want to explain to you the whole concept of a landscape and also make sure you understand the whole premise of art as we create it together, that there are no mistakes. You can't even possibly make a mistake, and that the only person who can judge you harshly is yourself. So please don't. Please don't judge what you're going to create. Celebrate it. Use it as an opportunity to love what you create and to love yourself. Okay? It's a good plan. That being said, we live on a round planet. It is flying through space. We are in the gravitational pull of the most enormous atomic bomb, the sun, and other stars and planets are hurtling past us in the sky. And yet when we draw a landscape, we're using a two-dimensional surface and we're representing this very round and very fluid and continually changing experience of being on the planet. So that being said, please know that there are some rules we can learn that will help us represent the illusion of space on a two-dimensional surface. And the reality is that everything is expanding, everything is changing, everything is in continual motion, and ultimately just about everything is round in terms of a landscape because we are on a round planet. If we could get far enough away from it, we would see that everything becomes round. So just imagine yourself out in space in a spaceship. The Earth is round, right? It's a round Earth. And yet we represent it as flat on a two-dimensional surface. So there's no right and there's no wrong. That being said, let's just talk a little bit about what a traditional landscape breaks down into so that you can make one. All right, thanks. Okay, so here are elements of landscape. You can see number 1, 2, and 3. I just numbered those for ease, but in no particular importance is your foreground, your middle ground, and your background. And there's your horizon line, and you can see that my mountain range kind of closely follows a horizon line. And then a vanishing point is the idea that as things go further away from you, they converge into a single line over the horizon. So just so we're clear, the horizon is an imaginary line because there is no place on planet Earth where the sky actually touches the ground. It gives you the illusion of space receding from you to call something a horizon line and to make vanishing points. So let's just look quickly. I made a little video next of me drawing landscapes in Procreate and did a screen record. See if that will give you a little bit more clarity about how to simply draw a landscape by creating a horizon line, some mountains in the back, and then either a road or a river that runs towards you. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is in Procreate. This is screen record of a digital drawing I did. There's our horizon line. And here come a few little mountains. Super simple lines. And here comes either a road or a river. Do you see how simple that is? And it gives you an idea of what that is, right? Now, these lines could either be clouds far on the horizon or another mountain range. So you've got your background, your foreground, and your middle ground. And we'll start again and do it again. Here we go. Horizon line. A little mountain, a little hill, another little one higher, and another, and they just kind of lay over each other. And here comes the river, a meandering river, or it could be a road. Mirrors each other, but you know, the sides mirror each other. Okay, another mountain, and then either a sun or a moon, just to anchor the background. And that's it. Okay, so now that you can see how easy it is to make a landscape with the horizon line, adding some mountains, adding a road or a river, and, you know, either the moon or the sun in the background, giving you a foreground, a middle ground, and a background, a loose idea of a vanishing point with a road or a river, and your horizon line, which is the first line that you draw. Hopefully that's really accessible and fun. That being said, I want to say a few words about art shaming. Most of us in our lives have had an experience where someone told us our art was crummy. I know for me, it was my first grade teacher, and I can still see her face. She didn't like my tree. And God bless her soul, she was a cranky old lady. God bless her. She was not a happy person. I don't even remember her name, but I remember the day that she told me that I didn't make my tree right. And you know, a little first grader has a tender soul, and that hurts. It's happened to most of us. You know, so many people have had the tree story or the Sister Mary Catherine story about the nuns who were unkind. And you know what? We just need to forgive them all and know that they were acting out of their own trauma. And let's not re-traumatize ourselves. Let's actually create, because you're the only one who can liberate yourself. And I promise you that when you do, you're going to be so happy you did. Because art is for you. It's so beautiful and it's so life-giving. It's for everybody. Okay, so that being said, I'm going to go first and we're going to do a little video. I'm going to show you how I would draw a landscape and then how I would extrapolate upon it in the spirit of Piet Mondrian, the man who went from like painting trees and forests and churches to creating something so unique and magnificent and modern. Don't you really wonder what's next? Don't you wonder what's in your mind that you haven't expressed yet? Let's take the idea of a landscape and build on that and push through it. Let's see what happens. Okay, here we go. Okay, so working in a horizontal format, this is horizontal, this is vertical or portrait. I'm going to draw my landscape, which will be fairly close to what I've drawn in the past. And as I'm drawing, I'm already starting to wonder about my lines. And I'm feeling the marker, and I'm listening to the way it's cutting against the paper, and I find that sound really helpful. I'm imagining snow, playing with my lines, coming back across. Now it's almost feeling like an ocean. Back to the horizon line. And I'm going to call this a road. And as I come out, my little lines are going to get longer to give the illusion. And I wonder if this is actually a road that goes up and over the mountain. So I'm just going to play with it. One of the best ways I've ever seen a sun depicted was by one of my students. He was painting a canvas and he went like this. And that was the sun over the mountains. Not just like a little ball in the sky, but a big, huge chunk out of the horizon. And I have always loved that. I have always loved that depiction of the sun. It's taking up the entire horizon on the painting. And I don't know, maybe those are birds, because if this is the sun, it's daytime. Otherwise, this could be the moon and these would be stars. So, do you hear the voice in your head? Can you play with it? Can you talk to yourself as you're creating? And calm any voice which might be critical? Okay, so basic landscape. What I'm going to do with this is what I really enjoyed were these undulating lines in kind of like the far background. I enjoyed making those. I enjoyed my big sun. And that's about it. Everything else felt okay. So I'm going to take this and move it to the side. And I'm going to move with what really made me happy were these undulating lines. And it's interesting because I'm moving right to left and then back. I didn't know I was going to do that. And I loved those lines like this and like this. I just love the way that feels on the paper. Oof. And then I want to fill these spots with little dots like I was making before. Only because it feels good and because I love the sound of the marker hitting the paper. The patterning of it sounds like little feet. Only really doing what I enjoy and then building these out. I feel like I want to build out some of these. And this is how you develop your own style and your own voice, by following what actually feels right and what feels good to you and what you enjoy. So this is my beginning. And before we get too far along, out of respect for time, I'm going to stop and say a few final words. But I hope this gives you an idea of how you can move from a landscape to an original creation. made with elements that are spurred by landscape and continued with the things that you love most from it. So I want to thank you so much for taking the time to make art. And I really mean that. And I say this to the children whenever I teach children. I thank them for making art because, and I really truly mean this, your art matters to the world. You have a unique voice. There's only one you. And if you don't make art, it won't get made. So thank you for creating and then taking that creativity into all aspects of your life. If you're an accountant, if you're a lawyer, if you're a dry cleaner, if you're a fireman, creativity is in everyone and in everything. I hope that you feel calmer and more centered after our time together. That's really the gift of art, and that's the gift that you bring to the world by making art. You feel calmer. Your interactions with other people will be calmer. You'll walk in the front door of your home, your family, your cat, your dog, or just even you will feel your own happiness from creating. So thank you for doing it, and I really mean that. I hope you took some inspiration from the work of Piet Mondrian, who was a really, truly exceptionally talented artist, and who took his vision to a place of daring and created something truly modern in 1922 and beyond. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you for the next episode, the next lesson, the next gathering for Heartwork. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Hi, everybody. As a final note, when you've taken the time to complete your artwork, adding color to it, working it out fully in black and white, whatever works for you, and if you want to send it to me and email it to me at heartworkbymaureenclaffey@gmail.com, I'll post it to our social media account on Instagram, Heartwork by Maureen Claffey. I would love for the world to see your work. The world needs your art. Thank you so much for creating.